Welcome to Ideas for Success, where one idea can make a world of difference. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about something pretty great for anyone who's in marketing in any capacity, and who isn't, right, Shannon? I mean, who's not in marketing, unless you're like an astronaut or something. I don't know. Do they have anything for sale? Probably not. Okay, but for the rest of us, we're all in marketing. And so we're going to be talking a bit today about how to promote yourself, specifically promoting yourself as an asset to whatever offer it is that you're offering people, right? It could be a coaching program, could be your consultancy, maybe you run an agency, or maybe you've even got a like a third party product, like an affiliate program or a networking, direct sales, stuff like that.
Service, digital marketer,
Sure. No matter
branding.
what it is, people buy from people. Okay, so you should show up as an asset to that potential transaction. That's what we're going to be talking about today. How to start showing up as an asset or an ally or a person who could provide value in the marketplace. So with that, Shannon, I know we've got just a couple of things. Nobody's going to get a brain hernia here today. We're going to keep it very actionable. These are things that you can take and put to use now, right? Because when would now be a good time to start using this stuff? Well, now. Okay, well, let's do that.
Right? That's right. Well, what we're going to talk about today is how to promote yourself to attract and sign clients. Now, understand that there is some pre-work that goes into this, right? So we're assuming you've already aligned your brand, you've already identified what your offer is, you've already identified your core audience, your niche, or your ideal customer avatar. So now we're moving beyond that part, right? Like that's the setup basics. Now we're going to talk about how do you actually promote yourself in order to attract these key players that are going to become your clients and then sign them. And that all starts with knowing what your pillar content is. So what is the word pillar mean, right? If you think of the word, if you think of a building, right, it's like a column that's holding the roof up. And that's what your pillar content is. So if you can come up with 10 topics that are your pillar topics that you cover in your training and your coaching, and these are topics that actually solve the key pain points for your ideal customer, that then you've already like conquered half the battle, right? Because now you know exactly what to talk about. And there's some easy ways to do that. You can go on to Google and you can type in, let's say that you are working with network marketers. Let's say you're working with network marketers and you're a trainer for people that are in MLMs and stuff. Then you can go into Google and you can say, you know, what do people in MLMs struggle with? And it'll literally deliver to you the top topics that people who are in network marketing or in MLMs are struggling with. And that can become part of your core pillars. The second thing is you can go into Facebook groups and you can simply survey people. Just do a post in other people's Facebook groups that have your ideal customer and ask, hey, I'm super curious. What's the number one thing you struggle with? And that will give you some answers too that you can then create as your pillar content. So once you have those 10 pillars, those 10 key things that you're going to be doing video, posts, lives like we're doing here, like we know one of our key pillars is how to promote to attract and sign clients, right? This is one of our pillar topics, and we talk about it in our TikTok videos, in our Instagram posts, on our image posts, and we do, of course, video training on it, webinars, you name it, we do it, right? Because we know that it's a pain point for you in order to post without it being meaningless or without it being worthless. You know, we hear a lot of times from people that come to us that they are posting, but they feel like it's a waste of time or that it's not getting any traction. Or on the flip side of that, they're not posting because they feel like it's going to be a waste of time, that they're going to be posting the wrong things and it's not going to attract the right people. And oftentimes that is the case. When people come into our coaching program, we look at what they have been posting, it's often just erroneous or miscellaneous stuff that isn't actually going to attract the type of person who's going to whip out their card or say yes to whatever that offer is, right? So you really do have to identify what are those 10 topics that are your core pillar content and would lead into your offer. And then once you have that, every post is going to follow a very specific formula. And this is whether you're doing a video or whether you're doing a graphic post or a story post. In our coaching program, we teach people a seven post strategy that they work through each week. And the posts are very specific on what they do, but each one of those posts follows this very simple 3-step framework. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, John, to go over what that framework is.
Sure. So again, keeping it simple, if we can boil this down to just 3 items, we could say assets within the post or the video or whatever it happens to be, we could enumerate them as the hook, the actual value that's being delivered, and a call to action. So hook, value, and CTA, call to action. All right, so let's talk about.
Write that down. You should definitely write that down if you haven't heard it before, because this will give you a very clear structure on everything that you do.
Right, right. If you think of it like this, I'm sure everyone here has been to a funnel, right? So let's say a lead capture funnel where you opt in with your email address and then you get the free stuff, right? Well, what did you see on that page? And there's a myriad different, varieties of this, but always, there's a hook or a headline. Here's the big promise. Here's the pain that we can solve. Here's the thing you want, which you already want. I'm not selling you on the idea that you want to solve your problem, okay? But here's a specific thing that we're promising you right up front to hook you in, okay? And then there may be a little video or some sizzle, copy on the page or whatever to just kind of embellish and to demonstrate and prove, yes, this is a valuable thing. This is something you want. I mean, we're speaking your language right now, right? Okay, and then the call to action is put your email address here and get the free download or watch the video series or whatever it happens to be. So there's a hook, there's value, however that's going to occur. It'll occur differently, like on page with, written copy versus, spoken word or whatever, but you want to demonstrate value in advance. A lot of times people think, well, how do I show up as valuable in the marketplace? In other words, how do I gain credibility? There's probably the real word, right? How do I occur to you as valuable, even if I don't have 10 million testimonials? And I mean, after all, I just got going with this, after maybe procrastinating on launching my coaching business for however long. Now I'm finally doing it and nobody knows who I am. Here's the best way to show up as valuable is to prove that you're valuable. In other words, to give value. I mean, it's so simple, right? Here's the other part of this, Shannon, and this is not necessarily on the outline, but maybe it should be. Don't attempt to be an expert in areas which you are not. So I know this is just kind of a caveat right now, okay? But there are a lot of people who they saw the other guy or gal on social media who seems to have their act together and they're an expert in that area. Maybe I need to be an expert like they are in that area. Here's what you want to do, which will keep things very congruent and give you a completely unfair advantage when it comes to actually showing up as valuable and making hooks or promises that you can actually deliver on. I want you to think about what big problem have you overcome? When you think about who your ideal target audience is, they're probably you 10 years ago before you solved your problem, right? So what did you overcome? And now go be the expert at that because you friggin' are the expert at that. You don't need to fake it or anything, right? People say fake it till you make it. Nonsense. So figure out something you can do to prove and demonstrate in advance before you've ever received any money that you're valuable, right? Make the hook, right? Would you like to know how I solve this problem? Great. Here's the free stuff. Here's the call to action. Click here to get on my list and I'll send you the free stuff. That's the basic framework of it. Shannon.
Yeah, I love it because there's a lot of confusion that people have about how they should structure their posts and how they should structure it. And I want to share something that one of my coaches shared with me that really changed, like it entirely shifted how I do my videos and my reels and my TikToks. And she said, you have to remember that as an entrepreneur, when you're out there on social media where people are going to be entertained, right? They're going to look at puppy videos and engagement videos and, dancing and all this stuff. You have to treat your posts in order to actually connect with that person that you want to connect with. You have to treat your post as the commercial, right? So we're the commercial in the break of the entertainment. And that's why that hook is so important, right? Because you're actually pulling them in to your content. And if it's boring, people are just gonna meander beyond it, because they're not looking for boring. They're not looking for ho-hum. They're not looking for, oh, that's nice, right? They're looking for something that's literally going to grab them by the eyeballs and pull them in. So you want to think about that when you are doing your posting and you're focusing on that hook. And just like John said, the way that you establish that you're someone deserving of their cash is to give them that value, to demonstrate that you know what you're talking about. Now, I am going to say one other thing before I move on to our next tip here. And that is, it doesn't mean that you're giving away the whole fish tank instead of just saying, hey, look, here's some nice fish, right? So what you want to do is you want to give them an idea. You want to tell them the what, but you're not walking them through the how, right? So you'll notice I'm not on here saying, okay, guys, get your camera out. We're going to make some videos. That's reserved for my coaching clients. My coaching clients, we do that. They send me the content. I go through it. I tell them how to improve it, right? So it's a difference of the what and the how. So just keep that in your mind, right? You're not saying, okay, here, I'm going to load everything I have up into your car so you can go enjoy this fish tank at home. You're just saying, hey, isn't this a beautiful fish tank? Wouldn't you like something like this? Right? So it's the difference in perspective. Now, when you're doing your content out there, I want you to really think with the fact that nowadays people's attention spans are very, very short. So it used to be, back when I started my business, that you had to touch someone. And by touch, I mean email, text message, an ad, something that goes in front of them or communicates to them a certain number of times. It used to be that you had to touch somebody 5 to 7 times. Now they're saying that actually has been bumped up to somewhere over 20 times, right? So you have to get in front of somebody's eyeballs over 20 times for them to move through the know, like, and trust phase of the sales cycle. So at first they know you, or they become familiar with you, and then they decide that they like you, and now they're intentionally seeking you out. They're intentionally following you, and that's building that trust and that rapport. So that means that you have to be coming at them from every single response mechanism that you can possibly come at them from. And that's where a system, the system Brand Builder AI really is so incredibly valuable, because you can automate that text messaging. You can automate those responses. They hit your page, you can send an email, right? They hit your page, you can add them to a custom audience on Facebook. They hit your page, you can schedule them for a call, right? So you have to be able to actually track these people. But in order to do that, you have to have a way to collect their emails. So email marketing is still the #1 highest converting form of marketing, bar none, hands down. And the biggest difference between email marketing and social media marketing, Facebook ads, anything that you're going to do other than that, is that your email list you own. That is your actual digital asset. And you might not think this way, especially if you're a newer entrepreneur, but people have spent millions of dollars to buy out businesses solely to get their hands on the database, right? Solely to get their hands on the email list. It wasn't the product inventory. It wasn't the unique offer. It was that they wanted that active database in order to pull it into theirs and assimilate that buying power, right? So your email list is the most valuable asset that you have in your business. So you want to create a free offer that's going to compel people to want to get onto your email list, to want to exchange their personal information with you for something valuable that you're giving them back. Now, a common mistake I see is that people will create these outrageously complex, way overdone free offers, and it could have been something as simple as a one-page checklist that helps them establish a morning routine, right? It can be something super simple that literally just resolves a pain point that's fresh at the front of the mind of their ideal customer. And the person's going to exchange their email information for that freebie because it's going to help them solve a problem that they wake up with worried about every day, right? They might wake up and every day say, oh my gosh, I really have to get a morning routine in. They wake up the next day. It's like Groundhog Day over and over and over again, right? So, but you can help them establish that or handle that problem. So you have to have some type of free offer that's going to be really compelling, and it should be in a funnel so that you can collect their email address. Now, if you're using a Facebook group, your Facebook group could actually be your free offer, as long as one of those questions in the acceptance into your Facebook group is to give you their email address, right? Because you're going to send them some cool stuff. Once they do that, then they're in. So that's really valuable. Yeah.
Right. The difference here between, and we may be thinking, well, if isn't a list still like a broadcast, like one to many? Yeah, but each person is receiving the email individually, as opposed to a social media post or advertisement where they, first of all, they may or may not see it. And the knee-jerk reaction or the assumption of a lot of people is, well, this is one too many. Which doesn't mean me. I mean, they're not really talking to me. They're talking to everybody else, but not me, right? It's kind of a weird phenomenon, right? They're not really talking to me. Well, now that I'm in your inbox and the email started with, hi, Sally. Oh, he's talking to me, right? The psychology of this, it may seem too simple, but don't neglect this. What Shannon just said, you've got to build a list. And we can't tell you how many people who've applied to like work with us and we get your coaching and blah, blah, blah. Right. Well, what kind of a list do you have currently? Oh, well, I got friends, family, neighbors, right? Which is the typical answer from people who don't know anything about marketing or have not engaged, right? You may have some concepts, but to know and not to do is not to know, right? So you got a list of 100 people. Okay, well, we can hit them today, right? Then what, right? So the good thing about having that asset and building that over time and building not just quantity, but a relationship with that list is, like I said before, people buy from people, typically people that have a degree of trust and credibility with them. So that asset grows and grows. And now your ad cost, when you launched the new thing, you published your book, here's the new course or the updated whatever, right? Your advertising cost on that to get those initial customers is zero. You've already paid for it, right? Either in time with organic content, right? Free offers and things like that, or a combination of organic and paid advertising. You don't have to advertise to them again. They're already on your list and there's no question about who you're talking to. It's in their inbox. So anyway, there's systems, and we've co-created the most powerful system that we've ever used after 20 years of running systems in Brand Builder AI. So you can be in multiple places at once and have all this machinery running for you, bringing people into your asset, your list, right? While you're off doing something else, maybe building out your next offer, maybe on the beach. I don't know. Okay. But the machinery always runs. And so that's how you get leverage. So, yeah.
And then lastly, you have to be consistent, guys. If you're inconsistent in your promotion, not only are you losing the attention of the people that you promoted to initially because their attention span is so low, it's also because other people are being consistent. And the people who are being consistent are literally stealing those eyeballs away from you. So if you're inconsistent, then you're off the battlefield. You're out of the game. Like you're not even remotely near the field. So you have to be consistent in your promotion. There literally is no excuse for it. It is like running up a hill and then allowing yourself to roll down and then having to run up the hill and roll down and run up the hill and roll down and doing that over and over and over again. Your business will never take off to the degree that you want it to without consistent promotion. You have to be in front of people every single day. And you might be thinking, oh, well, I want to take the weekends off. We live in 2023. Okay. It's not like you have to be the person hitting the enter key every single day in your business, right? You need to smartly plan and actually have a plan in place that you can put it all on autopilot and let it go for you automatically. Right. And when you plan, like just to give you an idea, like John and I, we have 52 weeks planned out of this call, right? So we know for 52 weeks what we're going to be talking about every single Wednesday. That then goes into an automated plan with the email on Monday and the replay on Friday. And like, we know exactly what that is, right? So you have to have that level of consistency if you're going to scale into the high 6 and past 7 and even into the 8 figures. That's the only way that you can do it. So make it a priority for you to promote, because promotion equals getting paid. Not promoting doesn't do anything except make you suffer, right? It operates your business more as a hobby. And then you're sitting there like, oh, I'm not getting any traction, and wondering if it's your offer or your colors or your brand or your office wall paint color or whatever. And the reality is it isn't. It's because you're not being consistent, right? We've seen horrible offers, horrible, look like crap offers with outrageously consistent promotion make 7 figures, right? So just remember that the more people, the more eyeballs you're getting on you, and the more eyeballs that are in agreement with what you're doing and excited about what you have to offer, the more successful you're going to be.
That's right. And don't think that by consistent, that means that you need to be exceedingly profound with everything you publish. Okay, because that's another thing where people kind of hit a wall with their consistency, and they back off from it, is because they're thinking, well, this isn't as good as it could be, or maybe I need to work on it some more or whatever. It's like, look, if you're doing like social media marketing, for example, first of all, it doesn't cost you anything, all right? Because that's the alternative, right, Shannon, is throw a mountain of money at it. Now you don't have to be anything, right? Just throw money at it. So if that's the position you're in, well, then go experiment with money. That's fine. But the idea that you could build that trust and credibility in the marketplace without throwing a mountain of money at an experiment, because all marketing is a test, right, is to just publish again and again and again. And this one didn't resonate. This one wasn't so good. This one you thought sucked, but everybody loved it. Oh, well, all right then. Here's the bottom line. Best known beats best. How do you get to be best known? Publish consistently, right? I've seen, like you said, Sean, I've seen things that I'm like, I can't even stand seeing this anymore. I can't even believe anybody's buying it, but it's everywhere. Okay, so much for my opinion, right?
Right.
So don't get too serious about your own opinion of your own content. Just publish, and it'll get easier. So I think that's it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pick 10 topics. You can go to Google. In this case, Google will actually help you for free. You just start typing a question, and Google will suggest, like, well, here's 10 different types of questions. Is that what you meant? Is that what you wanted to ask? Here's what everybody else is asking. Are you sure you don't want to ask that? I mean, it'll just tell you what people are searching for. Thank you for the topics. Now I'm not looking at this, flashing cursor of death, wondering what I should type. Okay, great. Then you go ahead and create content based on that, which has a hook, an offer, and a call to action. And that could be, the hook is the headline of the video on TikTok or whatever, right? Would you like to know how to solve this problem? And then you give the value. Here's how I solve this problem. And by the way, if you want the free, I just made the free ebook, then click here and the call to action, right? Come get the ebook, which brings them to the free offer to get onto your list, which you follow up with consistently via machinery, right? Unless you want to type out emails every day. I suppose you could do that too. Otherwise, go to brandbuilderai.com and that will solve that problem. And then just do that consistently, what we just described, do that consistently. And you're going to find that you're building an asset of people who are predisposed and pre-motivated to buying your offers, plural, and you may only have one now. But what about 90 days from now? What about 30 days from now? What about the other thing with the affiliate guy who said, hey, you want to promote this to your list because you obviously, people like you and, they need to know about my stuff and I'll pay you half the money. However that works out, that you monetize that and you don't have a crystal ball. Okay. But without the asset, you got no shot. So start building a list. And with that, we will adjourn. Do we have comments or questions that we should take up here? Shannon, I can't see the screen.
No, we don't. That's
okay.
it. Okay,
So,
guys, have a fantastic day. Thank you for being here. Look forward to next week. We have another killer topic, and we'll be sending you an email out about it.